20 years ago, a small One beep indicates locking, the signals will flash and the mirrors will tilt in. Then after waiting a second, just tap the button once to unlock the driver's door, and then once more for the rest of the doors. In this particular car with the VIP package as well, you also have electronic door actuators. And they work rather fast. This K900 is finished in Aurora Black and has the upgraded white Napa leather interior package. The upper portion of the doors and dash are also finished in black leather. Real wood veneer is found throughout and black piano veneer trim with subtle touches of bright work and brushed aluminum. Along with that smart key system, the K900 also features a standard remote push-button ignition system. In order to start the vehicle, you just got to make sure you have the key fob within the vehicle's interior, put your foot on the brake, and hit the dash metal button to start. Beautiful. The K900 is a car designed around traditional luxury, surrounding occupants in a comfortable, quiet environment that's filled with rich materials. The steering is an electro-hydraulic speed-proportional rack and pinion setup, routed through a leather-wrapped 3-spoke steering wheel and trimmed in genuine dark charcoal poplar wood up top and black piano veneer below the leather-wrapped airbag cover. The key theme that you'll see throughout the interior is an impressive attention to detail. Grip bolsters up top give the wheel a little bit more of a sporty look, while your multifunction controls are laid out in an easy-to-use, well-organized fashion between the airbag cover and the upper spokes. Not much transfers to the steering wheel in terms of road feel, but then again, the K900 isn't a sports car. It's super smooth and easy to turn with a seamless, fluid motion. While it may feel isolated, the steering was quite accurate. It's a heavy car, so it does exhibit some body roll in the corners when pushed a bit harder. Hyundai's Equus offers an air suspension option, while the Kia remains a mechanical setup. I honestly couldn't tell and actually had to double check the specs because the Kia is that smooth. It absolutely floats down the road, soaking up nearly everything, making it one of the most relaxing cars I've driven lately. The V8 K900 transmits power to the rear wheels through an 8-speed shift-by-wire automatic transmission with variable shift mapping, routed through a unique electronic gear selector in the center console, a similar design also seen in the latest BMW products. By pressing the unlock button to the left, you're able to drag it down to drive, or push it all the way up for reverse. Half a click up or down engages neutral. There aren't any paddle shifters, but manual gear selection can still be performed via the selector by pulling it to the left while in drive. Park is activated via the P on top. The selector is finished in high-gloss black with contrasting polished trim and soft material across the backside. The 8-speed automatic performs well overall. It's relatively quick to shift and is almost undetectable in normal driving. For the time that I had the K900, I kept it in normal mode, which is what I thought best balanced performance both in shifting and acceleration, but more on that in a second. For some, it may upshift too quick in eco mode with slightly delayed downshifts because it's trying to keep the RPMs as low as possible. If you're looking for instant acceleration on tap, sport mode is the best, where shifting into higher gears is less of a priority as is keeping the car in its appropriate power band relative to the speed that you're traveling. Behind the selector there are 3 buttons. The wide one controls the electronic parking brake. Auto hold will hold the vehicle stationary when you come to a full stop, so you don't have to continuously rest your foot on the brake while waiting for a light or traffic. The drive mode button cycles through 3 driving modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport, and is tied to the gearbox, throttle, steering, and the adaptive dampers, not to mention the VIP package's reconfigurable 12.3-inch LCD TFT display. Specifically for the instrument cluster, Sport Mode has a different set of gauges with some digital readouts, while Eco has some blue accenting towards the bottom of the screen. Eco gears the car for the best fuel economy, shifting earlier to keep the RPMs as low as possible. It also has the lightest steering and slightly reduced throttle response, all in the name of efficiency. Normal is your day-to-day driving mode for a good balance without reduced capabilities. Sport mode, aside from the cool gauges, increases throttle response, raises the transmission shift points, and slightly stiffens up the electric steering. It doesn't turn it into a sports car, but it's still pretty fun to have a real sport mode in such a big car for those times you just feel like letting loose. While the entry K900 will come with a 3.8-liter V6, this V8 is where the real performance is. We'll talk about it more in depth later in the video, but with 420 horsepower it can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in as little as 5.5 seconds, while keeping a collected profile and unleashing an excellent engine note from its otherwise serene cabin. An adaptive backup camera with front and rear parking sensors is standard, including rear cross traffic alert and blind spot monitoring. But with the available VIP package, you can also receive a 360-degree around view camera system, featuring 4 discrete wide-angle cameras in the front, rear, and under each of the side view mirrors. The VIP package also has the adaptive cruise system, first appearing on the Cadenza, that can bring the vehicle to a full stop and then accelerate once traffic allows. Another standard feature includes a camera-based lane departure warning system, which monitors the vehicle's position and sends out an audible warning if the vehicle begins to drift too close to either of the lane markers. Just ahead of the center console, there's a little camera button that activates the vehicle's low-speed front camera system, so you can easily see what's ahead of you when parking and driving in tighter areas. With this feature, you can even select the other camera views while driving only at lower speeds. For obvious reasons of distraction, this feature is locked out when you drive at higher speeds. And so, we're going to flip on the adaptive full LED headlamps, fog lamps, and the hazards. All 4 windows are fully automatic and feature laminated glass at each door for superior noise isolation. And let's go and check out the exterior.
You'll also notice upon closing the door, the exterior will chime for a few seconds, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob.
The K900, in my eyes, is a welcomed enigma in the luxury car segment. Kia's first full-size, rear-wheel drive super sedan designed to compete with the likes of the Lexus LS and BMW 7 Series. With limousine-like interior space and a focus on traditional luxury, the K900 brings new flavor to a highly competitive market. For the past 2 decades, Kia has been known for providing affordable transportation ranging from small econoboxes to family haulers. But never have they offered something that evokes such a level of prestige, often reserved for cars costing $10,000 to $20,000 more. Kia and Hyundai both have been churning out some phenomenal products in recent years. With offerings like the Soul, Optima, Sorento, and the recently launched Cadenza, they've created a lineup that can just about appeal to anyone's needs. The K900, like Hyundai's recently refreshed Equus, represents the flagship of the brand, a natural progression in advanced build techniques and refinement. If anything, it shows Kia is ready to finally step up to the plate and play ball in the major leagues while sticking to their more for less value scheme. The chassis is derived from Hyundai's rear-wheel drive Genesis sedan. Both length and wheelbase have been increased by 4.3 inches, while width and height grow by 0.4 and 0.5 inches respectively. The larger dimensions lead to a significant amount of extra interior space, especially in the rear. For buyers cross-shopping vehicles in this class, the biggest hurdle will be overcoming brand image. The K900 is Kia's first true luxury vehicle. While costing significantly less than others in the class, there's still a lot of competitors who have longer-standing pedigrees of a premium image. To some, it may be easy to dismiss the K900 as the poor man's BMW or Lexus, but truth be told, the Kia is a fantastic vehicle. It packs a tremendous amount of luxury and features for its price point. It's a car that must be seen, felt, driven, and experienced for one to truly realize the length that the designers and engineers went to create the most refined Kia in history. What I like about it is that it's different. You can argue names and prices till the sun goes down, but the K900 represents a fresh, new entry into the segment. Especially compared to the Equus, I feel that the Kia has a much cleaner style to it, with tapered edges, smooth body lines, and a more modern appearance. K900 aims at the more traditional luxury buyer than someone cross-shopping a Mercedes S-Class, with plenty of chrome, soft suspension, and an isolated cabin. At launch, the K900 is only available with a V8, but a more fuel-efficient V6 will also be available later this year. It benefits from a simplified model selection strategy similar to the strategies employed by the Cadenza. There's a laundry list of standard features, but only 2 main trims, V6 Premium and V8 Luxury. To outfit the V6 to the V8 and beyond, you'll have to add the luxury and technology groups respectively. The only package available on the V8 is known as the VIP, found on the example we have here. Be sure to check out Kia's online configurator for specific details and pricing between the packages. Up front, the V8 model receives standard adaptive LED headlamps that rotate with the steering wheel to illuminate curves in the road ahead. They're composed of 8 main LED bulbs each, with respective LED turn signals and beautiful L-shaped soft LED accents. The lower outer edges of the front fascia contain LED positioning and fog lamps with subtle chrome trim. The grille is a unique mesh adaptation of Kia's corporate style and also houses the front camera for the VIP's surround view camera system. The towering hood contains style lines that begin at the A-pillars and flow to the upper edges of the grille, while the center raised portion seamlessly dissipates before meeting with the Kia emblem. The overall look is powerful, modern, and elegant, and gives it a wide presence in my opinion. Its presence is further facilitated by its long wheelbase, raked greenhouse, and higher deck lid. I'm not a big fan of the faux fender vents. I think an alternate design would be a little bit more appropriate, as I think it dates the car quite a bit, but I like how it carries into the doors with subtle creases. Below, a large strip of chrome highlights the rockers and extends into the rear flanks. Out back, you also have wraparound LED lighting that also features the soft LED highlights like you find in the front. V8s also receive a V8 badge out back. I do like the strip of chrome across the deck lid, which further adds to the appearance of width. They also integrated the reverse lamps, while LED license plate lights reside underneath. The bottom fascia is finished off with twin integrated polished exhaust outlets. The K900 V8 comes with a set of polished 19 by 9 inch alloy wheels, wrapped in Hankook all-season tires, 2 45/45s in front and 2 75/40s in the rear, tested to hold up to .84 G in lateral cornering forces. As far as the brakes, the K900 also features ventilated discs measuring 14.2 inches in front with 4-piston fixed calipers and 12.3-inch discs in the rear with single-piston sliding calipers. With this setup, the car is able to stop from 60 miles an hour in around 113 feet. The suspension consists of an independent multi-link setup front and rear with coil springs and anti-roll bars. The air suspension found on the Hyundai Equus isn't offered on the Kia. Overall length is 200.6 inches with a width of 74.8 inches and a height of 58.7 inches running on a 119.9-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight manufacturer claimed around 4,555 pounds.
So we'll go ahead and pop the hood.
The K900 is powered by an all-aluminum, direct-injected TAL 5-liter V8 borrowed from the Genesis 5.0 R-Spec. Featuring double overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, dual variable valve timing, and a compression ratio of 11.5 to 1. While power drops slightly for this application, it's still quite respectable at 420 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 376 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. This translates to 0 to 60 times as low as 5.5 seconds, with quarter-mile times ranging around 14 seconds at 100 miles an hour, with a top speed limited to 149 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy, the K900 carries a 19.8-gallon tank, while recommending premium fuel. EPA estimates range between 15 miles to a gallon in the city and 23 on the highway. A 3.8-liter V6 will soon be available. It offers 311 horsepower, 293 pound-feet of torque, and upwards of 27 miles to a gallon. The first time I sat in the K900, I was immediately taken aback. The fit and finish, quality of materials, and rich appointments is unlike anything I've ever seen from Kia, usually reserved for super sedans costing significantly more. For the most part, high-grade leather wraps the doors and dash, complementing the optional Napa leather upholstery, available in black or white with black piping, not to mention the perforation for the heating and cooling function. You can even choose between genuine white sycamore or dark charcoal poplar wood trim, not to mention aluminum. The doors highlight the two-tone color scheme with curved accents that flow towards the speaker grille. Black piano veneer highlights all of your electric accessories, including your windows, locks, and mirrors. Extra storage down below, as well as an aluminum speaker grille surround for the Lexicon audio system. The top of the door houses your seat adjustments, memory settings, and heating and ventilated functions, with subtle touches of satin brightwork found throughout. LED interior lighting provides an ample amount of light at night and almost illuminates it like daylight, while red LED accents in the dash and doors, not to mention the kick plates down below, offer a striking complement. When you opt for the VIP package, you receive a 16-way power-adjustable driver's seat with integrated memory function for 2 passengers, power lumbar support with 4-way adjustments up, down, and out, power headrest, as well as a power seat cushion extension down below for extra thigh support. They're wonderfully comfortable with a plentiful amount of padding down below and up top to make sure it's one of the most comfortable seats you sit in all day. The headrests are able to adjust around your neck as well as out to help cradle you for long-term trips and reducing fatigue. I also like the attention to detail with the extra black stitching. It's just enough to really make the white leather pop. Continuing on down below, you have standard illuminated aluminum door sill plaques. The front floor mats have logoed aluminum stampings and are made of deep pile carpet. They're really soft. The steering wheel is power tilt telescoping with heating function. The dash is entirely wrapped in leather, including the lower white portion, your power trunk release, as well as fuel cap and a few other options which we'll talk about later in the video. Double stitched leather up top, nicely finished off with a full Alcantara headliner and the panoramic sunroof.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds.
The K900 features a standard 900-watt, 17-speaker Lexicon discrete Logic 7 surround sound system with 12-channel digital sound processor and rear-mounted subwoofer, fed through a 9.2-inch LCD display with Kia's latest UVO infotainment system, standard Bluetooth technology, and more. Unlike some of the other UVO applications, this system is not a touchscreen. It's controlled via the wheel in the middle here and the various shortcut keys placed around, with natural hand position with 3 fingers in the front and 2 to each side, and the wheel in the middle to control the various features. The 3 buttons located at the back correspond to the snow mode for inclement weather, your low-speed front view camera system like I showed earlier, and your power rear sunshade. Only the back one is powered, the ones in the rear doors are manual. Like you saw earlier, the Alcantara headliner also flows down into the pillars, grip handles up top with subtle bright work, and Alcantara wrap visors, with LED illuminated vanity mirrors and a card holder to the right. Your rear view mirror is auto-dimming with 3-position garage home link towards the bottom, as well as a built-in compass. Up in the top stack, you have the controls for the interior LED illumination, a padded sunglass container towards the front, hands-free Bluetooth microphone, and your automatic sunroof. There's 4 different buttons that control to the overall interior illumination. Of course, you have your LED reading lamps at the top here, but if you hit room, that automatically activates all of the interior lights. Rear room activates only the rear seat lights. Door makes the lights come on when you open the door. When you activate privacy mode, that only turns on the lights corresponding to whichever door that you open. And of course, the sunroof is entirely automatic with a fully automatic sunshade that comes from the front and back to meet up in the middle. Of course, lined in Alcantara. The glass roof picks up, slides over the rear portion with a wind deflector that automatically pops up. Taking a closer look at the center stack, you'll see that the K900 also features a standard electronic dual-zone automatic climate control, with your temperature adjustments located on either side, fan speed, different zones, front and rear defrost, recycling, and syncing both sides. If you hit the climate button, it also brings up the direction of airflow and some of the basic functions within the LCD screen. Within the controls, you also have an elegant analog clock accented in subtle bright work and LED backlit. Looks beautiful at night. And what's also pretty cool is that you don't have to set it manually. It gets its clock adjustments directly from the vehicle's GPS system. Beneath those controls is your in-dash CD player, as well as some basic radio shortcuts for the different modes. Seek, changing the track and rewind, FM, AM, satellite radio, and your different media options. Your tune is located to the far right, whereas your power and volume is located to the far left. If you hit this little display button right here, it'll also black out the screen to just the vehicle's logos. Flowing through the center console, the Nappa leather also blends all the way into the back, with beautiful detail, especially the high-gloss wood veneers in the middle that have a little bit of a metallic flake to them. They look really pretty in the sun. You do have a storage compartment. This slides back up front with a 12-volt power outlet, USB, iPod, and auxiliary integration. 2 cup holders here. The double stitching runs across the central tunnel and blends into a full padded leather center console. There's actually a nice amount of resistance to it. It won't swing open or slam closed or anything like that, and has a nice feel to it. Lined in velour, LED illuminated with an extra power outlet, and a removable storage tray. As far as the voice commands, you can learn how to use them by simply saying help.
Please say a command after the beep.
Help.
Help. Please say a command after the beep.
CD.
CD. Please say a command after the beep.
Cancel.
Cancel.
So it'll outline all of the available commands so you can do it all hands-free without having to fiddle with the system going down the road. As far as your steering wheel multifunction controls, on the left-hand side, at the top here, you have all of your different radio functions and media modes. In the bottom here, you have your hands-free telephone, voice commands, lane departure warning, and in the bottom here, you have your heated steering wheel activation. The right-hand side corresponds to the driver information system, which I'll show in just a second, and your cruise control in the bottom here with adaptive cruise functions so you can set the distance between you and the car in front of you on the highway. One of the nice things about these TFT displays is the functionality and the amount of information that you can pack in them in a very modern, easy-to-see package. Now with the driver information system, you just use the little directional arrows to go through the main menus. Your lane departure warning, media, service interval, tire pressure monitoring system, and personalizable options. And just to quickly recap what you saw earlier, the different modes for the speedometer include Sport Mode, which actually turns it into little tick mark indicators and large digital readouts for both the speed and the tachometer, of course. Your driver information system doesn't change, neither do the gauges towards the bottom. When you switch it into Eco Mode, there's a little bit of blue highlighting down below and it says Eco in the speedometer cluster. Normal is just plain as you see here. Automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, and all of your lighting, turn signal, and fog light setup. It's actually really easy to use. All corresponding to your lighting, high beams. Just flip a switch for the fog lights, and you can also turn the daytime running lights off if you prefer. The far left-hand side corresponds to your interior lighting dimmer, heads-up display, traction control, parking sensor activation, as well as the blind spot monitoring system you can turn on or off. The heads-up display is actually really neat. You can change the brightness, the size of the font, and you can turn it on or off depending on if you're in the mood to see it or not. And what's pretty cool is the fact that it also shows up your navigation, blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, and navigation, sometimes simultaneously, so it looks pretty cool, especially when you're traveling in a pack of cars on the highway. Now, as far as the UVO system, I've actually been really impressed with some of Kia's latest infotainment systems. They're really some of the best on the market as far as ease of use, high-res graphics, and functionality. So for starters, it shows your media modes, AM, FM, standard Sirius satellite radio, CD player, the built-in hard drive, USB, iPod, auxiliary integration, as well as hands-free Bluetooth streaming of audio. You can also stream internet radio from your smartphone from Pandora. The navigation system does have real-time traffic updates, so you can access the destination screen via the shortcut key behind the map screen in the center stack, or in the little tab in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Within that, you can choose your route, setup, traffic updates, and you can either click down on the wheel or tap it to the right to access the sub-menu. Search by points of interest, emergency roadside assistance, favorite locations, and more. Your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it if you don't have one currently connected. From this screen, you can store contacts, dial numbers, voice dial, have call history, and more detailed settings. If you have any questions with using the system, you can actually go to the System Settings function. Within this, it does have some personalizable options for the system like clock settings, language, keyboard, as well as help using some of the other various commands, but there is an interactive guide. It'll walk you through how to use the controller and all of its different features. Display settings in the bottom right-hand tab. Sirius XM data consists of real-time weather updates. If you hit menu, brings up your extended forecast. Warnings and advisories. Traffic updates, and stocks. If you have the UVO app downloaded to your smartphone, you actually have a little bit of extra functionality within this screen, such as vehicle diagnostics, roadside assistance, some settings, and more about that can be found in your owner's manual. Now the menu button right here sits in between these two tabs, just like it does on the screen here. And depending on which function you're in, whether you're in navigation or your telephone or CD media, it has different available features, but if you hit it while in CD, it actually brings up some extra stuff like shuffling, repeating, scan, sound settings, and more. But in a nutshell, those are all the basic features of the UVO system, standard in the K900. And like you heard earlier when we first got in the vehicle and shut the door, there was a little chime. There's also a shutdown chime, and along with that, the steering wheel will automatically tilt up, the driver's seat will move back to allow easier entry and exit. The speedometer cluster will also display K900, how far you drove, and the remaining fuel that you have. Alrighty. And we're going to check out backseat room, and the different amenities that you can get with the available VIP package.
The best part about the K900 are the rear seat amenities and impressive accommodations. There's a ton of leg and headroom, making it the perfect environment to stretch out and relax after a long, hard day. Like the front, everything is also wrapped in leather for the most part, including the doors. The perforations across the seat middle actually come across the sides as well for the rear seat, which give it a cool visual effect. If you look closely, the middle curving portion of the door actually meets up with the front door, creating a seamless crescent shape from front to back. You also have the black piano veneer, a little storage down below, your power seat adjustments in the VIP package, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Both rear doors also have manual sunshades. The back seat is even more comfortable than the front, aiding to its limousine-like nature. And with the VIP package, in addition to extra comfort features in the center console, which I'll show in just a second, you also have multi-adjustable headrests that pull around your head and tilt out to properly support you on a longer trip. Like the front, attention to detail is also quite nice with illuminated aluminum door sill entry guards and extra perforations across the sides. The seats in the VIP package are both heated and ventilated, and also have standard side airbags.
Climbing in and out is easy thanks to a tall roofline and wide opening doors. And it's also really solid feeling. It also plays in part to all the sound deadening included in the vehicle. So like I briefly touched on a second ago, this VIP package has heated and cooled rear seats, you have 4-way power lumbar for both sides, and you can move this seat forward by simultaneously pressing these two buttons to slide it and tilt it, giving the person sitting on this side a little bit more interior space. Now, along with the Hyundai Equus, options have been simplified a little bit, and that carries on over to the K900 as well. Those of you remember when the Equus first came out, you had the Ultimate package, which allowed a little ottoman to tilt out from the bottom of the seat here. Now, the Equus no longer offers that, and the K900 doesn't offer it either, which really, when you go ahead and recline the seat out, it didn't make sense to begin with because, I mean, right now, this is a pretty comfortable position. I'm nice and laid back and kind of kick back and relax. If I had a pillow that I could put on the back of the seat, I would totally feel comfortable with sticking my feet up and just kicking back and relaxing. But with that ottoman that used to be offered, it would come out to about right here, and your legs would hit the back of the seat, so you would still have to put your feet on the back of here. You would just have a little bit of extra thigh support here, so it really didn't make sense. So this is definitely a much better designed option than that old optional system. Another nice thing about the VIP package is the multi-adjustable headrest, which can curve around your neck as such and tilt out for a little bit of extra support under your head, similar to seen in some BMW and Mercedes designs that really makes it quite comfortable back here. There's an auto button on the door right here that, when opened, it'll automatically bring the seat back to its standard setting so you don't have to do all the adjustments and stuff like that. When you close the door back, it won't go back to its reclined portion. You still have to manually push it out. As far as overall interior space, like I said, it is quite abundant. I probably have a good 7-8 inches of leg space with a comfortable seating position for myself up front, and about, let's say, 1.5 inches, 2 inches of headspace. So let's talk about the convenience features in the back seat. All K900s come with a little control panel right here with a wood grain housing, a little bit of high gloss, and a majority leather center console with storage down below, and you can fold it up, sit a third person here with a headrest in the middle. But with a VIP package, you have both heated and ventilated seats, 4-way power lumbar adjustment for both sides, in addition to like your climate control that basically adjusts it up there, so if you adjust it back here, it's going to make it more powerful or change the temperature for the front. You can also control your power sunshade for the back within the control panel. Up top here, you have leather padded grips, coat hooks, LED reading lamps, and of course, the panoramic sunroof, allowing a lot of ambient light in. There's an extra coat hook on the top of each B-pillar. Down below is an extra air vent that's also adjustable, and down below here you also have another 2 set of air vents, so there's plenty of ventilation back here crank up the cooled seat, and it can get pretty frosty back here. It's definitely nice on these 90, 100-degree days. When you actually get this optional package, you actually lose the trunk pass-through that you can stick skis through or longer items. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, but the trunk space is pretty substantial anyway, so that's probably not that big of a deal. So, let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we?
Open up the standard power liftgate of the K900 and you'll find around 15.9 cubic feet of cargo space, which is relatively average. It's not huge, but there's still enough cargo space to fit a ton of luggage. There's a first aid kit out back, plenty of storage nets, cargo tie-downs, illumination, deep pile carpet, and your jack and equipment located underneath.
On the passenger side, you have similar power adjustments, but you don't have the 4-way power lumbar. And like I said earlier, the lower portion of the dash is also wrapped in leather with the red LED interior ambient illumination located across the dash and the doors. Lockable glove box down below. Lined in velour, a good amount of space. You can lock the trunk via a switch underneath, and it's also filled with illumination.
The K900 is a wonderful example of Kia's progress over the past 2 decades. With top-shelf build quality, an impressive level of standard and available technology, and an attractive price, it's definitely worth considering when searching for your next luxury car.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2015 Kia K900. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.